Hello and welcome to the video. My name is Bubba Jord and I am from Bubba Jord Entertainment and Bubba Jord Vlogs, of course, and I am going to take you on a journey that started last night on Raw up until Survivor Series War Games with this match you see right here being the main event. If you like this, give me a comment, a subscribe, all that kind of stuff. But first, we've got to mention every week on Raw, due to these new guys. So yeah, due to these new guys, Solo Sikoa and LA Knight are going to get their asses kicked every week. However, the Usos and Jacob are not going to fall victim to these guys because the numbers are just matched. So the numbers aren't exactly against the Bloodline, but Solo and LA are just going to get beaten down pretty much every week. And that brings us to this event here, Money in the Bank. We all know it's in New Orleans. What's going to happen is these couple of matches, I believe. We'll get into the first one and then we'll go into what I believe will happen. So I think that the Usos are going to be facing the Vision for the Raw Tag Team Championships. Now, they're not going to win the Tag Team Championships at Money in the Bank. They're going to come close, but the match is going to get thrown out due to disqualification. From who, you might ask? Well, that's quite simple. The MFTs. Why are the MFTs going to get involved in the Usos business? Well, the MFTs are currently the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. What would the MFTs not want to happen? The alternative Samoan Dynasty Tag Team to be Tag Team Champions once again. So Haku's going to lead the Tongans and the MFTs, well, I believe they're called the Tongans by then anyway, down to interfere in this matchup and take out the Usos. Now you might be wondering, why would the Tongans want to get involved in the Usos business? Well, the MFTs, or the Tongans, they want to be perceived as the closest thing to Samoan Dynasty that is like Arthur and Sika. And while the Usos are still kicking, the Tongans have got an uphill battle because the Usos are just so much more successful. So they might want to get in on this Bloodline storyline and get involved. Now for the actual Money in the Bank ladder match, I do have Matt Cardona, Finn Balor, Sami Zayn, Penta, Javon Evans, Solo Sikoa, and Jacob Fatu in this one. Now the reason I've got some of these guys in here is because they are literally designed for ladder matches. Penta, Javon, Finn, all guys that can go in a ladder match. Sami Zayn has a connection to the original Bloodline storyline, that's why he is being brought into this one. And Matt Cardona, he just fits Money in the Bank this year, I do believe that. However, Solo and Jacob being in it, the story is really going to be is which one of them can get the briefcase. And the answer will be none of them. I see, if this is the lineup for Money in the Bank, I reckon someone like Sami Zayn or Finn Balor is going to win the briefcase. But who's going to cost Solo and Jacob the match? Well, it's simple. These two lumps. These two are going to come out and they're going to take Solo out. Jacob's going to get up and look at them, and then he's going to try and fight. But he's also got the other 5 guys that are also like, well, you was basically shoehorned into this match because the tribal chief had a little bit of stroke. So they're all going to be like beating on Jacob as well. So they're going to take Jacob and Solo out, these two guys, and it's going to be down to the rest of them to win Money in the Bank. And that sets War Games up completely fine in my book, where Jacob and Solo have to fight together for the first time since they was both involved in MFTs together, which makes a lot of sense. Now after LA Knight faces Roman Reigns on an episode of Raw of some sorts, and Royce Keys costs LA Knight the match and Roman retains the title, Royce Keys is then going to go ahead to Money in the Bank and face Roman Reigns for the world title. However, LA Knight's going to be like, it was a bit unfair, I was cost my match, so I want to get in on this match as well at Money in the Bank, which is going to lead to a triple threat match between the three of them. Roman's walking out with the world title regardless of what you think. because he's going to stay the world champion for a long time, in my opinion. Now, what's going to happen here? Roman's going to win the match, and then we're going to have a post-match stare down. I mean, the match itself is just going to break down completely when Royce Keys' guys come out to try and help him and get rid of either Roman or LA Knight. And then Solo and the Usos and Jacob are going to come out and back their guys up. So Roman's going to get his back up first. Solo's going to come out and try and help LA Knight. And then the Tongans are going to come out. Well, because they've got a vested interest in the Usos, Jacob and Solo and Roman, they're kind of going to align themselves with Royce Keys and his crew and take down the Usos, Jacob and Solo and Roman. But because LA Knight sort of sided with Solo, he's going to help them with Tongans and Royce's crew. There was not an official name because it was only last night that Royce Keys come out with these guys, which over the couple of weeks is going to lead to LA Knight and Solo Sikoa having a lot of segments with Roman Reigns himself. And Roman's going to be like, well, look, LA, if you want a shot at my world title again, be on their team for War Games. And Solo, if you want us to leave you alone, you be on their team at War Games. Because Roman's going to be busy elsewhere at Survivor Series. So, I said Sami Zayn's winning Money in the Bank. Well, Sami Zayn's going to come out on Raw about 3 weeks prior to Survivor Series, and he's going to be like, Roman, you've not got challenges for Survivor Series. I'm cashing in my briefcase, and I want to face you one-on-one. So Sami's going to give Roman the heads up and do it the right way, and they're going to build a story where Sami wants to vanquish the one thing that he never could back when he was a part of the Bloodline, back when he was removed from the Bloodline. So this story here is going to all make sense. I mean, they can make it make sense if they just harken back and give it time. But it's essentially going to be Sami Zayn cashing in the Money in the Bank briefcase on Roman Reigns in a fair one-on-one contest. Okay, this would be a good way to end that old chapter of the Bloodline as well, where we didn't get Roman and Sami have a payoff match. Which brings us back to the initial image, where you're going to have the Usos, Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa and LA Knight versus the Tongans, Will Hobbs and his crew, or Royce Keys, I'm making the same mistake Corey Graves made last night with that. Jesus Christ. But this one's going to be... I'm going to give you the rundown. I think the Bloodline is going to have the man advantage. So the first two guys in the match will be LA Knight and one of these guys behind Royce Keys. And then, I'm not too sure on the names. It's OTM, I know that's what they are as collectives. And then the other guy Solo's going to come out, and then it'll be a 2-on-1 for a little bit, and then the other guys from OTM are going to come out, and you're going to get OTM sort of decimate LA Knight and Solo Sikoa, and then they're going to send Jay out. Now they're saving the werewolf for last. This is the play that the Usos have run because they're the captains, of course, and then Royce Keys is going to come out, and then you're going to get Tala Tonga, who's going to jump the gun. He's going to beat Jimmy. He's going to beat Jimmy up at the top of the rampway. Then he's just going to walk down because Haku said that he wants his boys to be bad motherfuckers. So that's going to happen. And then Jimmy's going to manage to get himself to the ring. And then Jacob's going to come out and help him get into the ring. But Jimmy's going to be in no state at all, really. So it's going to be a level playing field until Tama Tonga comes out. And Tama Tonga will handcuff Jimmy to the cage. Okay, so Jimmy's he's not even a factor here. And it's basically going to be 5-on-4. And it's going to be Team Royce Keys and the Tongans decimating LA Knight, Jay, Solo and Jacob. However, the Bloodline's going to get a surprise from NXT. Well, you're going to go backstage, and it's going to look really bleak for the Bloodline and LA Knight and Solo Sikoa, but Roman's going to be like, you need to go and help them. We don't know who he's talking to, and then Zilla Fatu comes through the audience. He's not going to come out the stage, he's going to come through the crowd and climb over the cage, and he's going to jump in there, and him and Jacob are going to look at each other because they've got a history, and then they're just going to completely go crazy on Royce Keys and the OMT. And then you're going to have a stare down with Jacob and the Tongans and Zilla, and they're all just going to be looking at each other, and then the Usos are going to come in, and Solo Sikoa is just going to be stood there as well. So you're going to see all these members of the Bloodline and the Anoa'i family all in the same ring, in the cage, and you get some really good visuals for this. And the Usos, Solo, Jacob and Zilla are going to beat up the Tongans, which is going to lead to Tonga Loa, the other Tonga, the one that got released a couple of months ago. He's going to return as well. Maybe not, but if he does, it'd be nice. But going with this lot here, we are going to have the Tongans get beaten up. Haku's going to be like, well, what is going on here? Roman's going to come down and confront Haku and just be like, look, we don't have to do this. This is not the family way. And then Haku's going to get in the ring, and this is where it's going to get a little bit messy. Haku's going to look at the Tongans, get that, boys. Going to look at Solo and be like, alright guys, we need to fall in line here. The elders demand that they fall in line. Roman's going to get in, and they're just going to decimate Royce Keys, OMT and LA Knight. The whole Samoan dynasty that's in the WWE right now are all going to come together under one umbrella. Now this is a super group for Samoan and Bloodline. Sami Zayn's going to come out and be like, what's going on? And then Sami Zayn's going to get attacked by Zilla, and Zilla's going to go up to the camera and be like, it's just Bloodline, dog. And it's going to be an absolute maniac couple of minutes where the Bloodline just decimates everyone in that cage. And Jacob's going to get the pin on Royce Keys, ending their bit of feud. Zilla's going to fall in line, Usos are going to fall in line, Jacob's going to fall in line, Tama and Tara's going to fall in line, and Solo's sort of going to be the last one that does, but he will fall in line. And then you're going to, what would happen after this, I mean, we can go into that in more detail, but I've got a feeling the Bloodline will be split across both shows, with Jimmy and Jay representing the Bloodline on different brands. So Jay will have one lot on Raw, Jimmy will have one lot on SmackDown, and exactly like the Bloodline should have been, Haku's going to be the wise man, the Tongans are going to sort of fall in line and do a lot of the bidding. I reckon Jay would be best served on the SmackDown rendition, because Jay can go after the world title over on SmackDown. So Jay would have Tala, Tama, Zilla, Jay and Haku. Roman would have Solo, Jacob, Jimmy and himself. So you kind of got two really good sides of the same faction, and that will be how the Bloodline will move forward going forward. They might even recruit Nia Jax, and when Naomi comes back, that'd be another video if this one gets a lot of traction. But this is how I feel that they can go up to War Games and really milk it, because let's be honest, I love the Bloodline and I love what they're doing, because they're not just a wrestling faction, they're more of a wrestling dynasty, and the family needs to be put more, the family element of what is in the WWE needs to be shown more. And it would be nice to see a lot of the old rivalries, like the Bloodline versus Cody and the Bloodline versus Sami and the Bloodline versus Kevin Owens. It'd be nice to see a lot of that get run back a bit. This is just my opinion. What are your guys' thoughts? Chat them off in the comments, and I will probably see you in another one where I pick the Bloodline in 2027.